Afternoon, this is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group. Today we're doing coffee news, or under the headline Power Coffee News. Now, I'm going to say I was very pleasantly surprised because, yes, I was a coffee roaster and will be again. And as you probably know, that the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, where generally about 40 million Americans rely on the help, I guess another name for SNAP would be food stamps. Families that are a little in tough shape, for different reasons, we all go there, have the opportunity, when things are the way they should be, they can supply better food, more food, and ensure that their family, especially the children too, have what they need. Unfortunately, the federal government, especially Congress, that it has, in essence, how would you say, have not been doing their job very well for quite a while now, almost a year. And the point of this is not to be a direct, heavy political statement, but it's a fact. If anybody follows this, they recognize that we've had the government shut down, which is silly. There's no reason for it, actually. But it's pure political process that totally bypasses the American people and the American economy. I can't say it any lighter than that. But today's topic is, and this totally caught me by surprise in a pleasant way, that if you see the title, it says, "Coffee Shops Step Up as Federal Government Ends Food Assistance Funding." Now, today's the 30th, tomorrow's the 31st. On Saturday, they're not going to have access to this assistance. And unfortunately, you can, if you have $1 million and you won the lottery, you don't necessarily would understand, or if you've had money for a long time, understand why people don't have money. And the way things are going with the fact of tariffs and what have you, there's quite a few people losing their job. And this is totally manufactured. It's not where we had, like when we had COVID, yes, the world shut down. But the world is fine generally. The United States is not. That's the best way I can say it. But, this is where people step up to help. The food banks, they are getting so inundated with people coming in saying, I need food for my family. So anyway, what's really cool, I'm going to point out of what I found. And by the way, this is from Daily Coffee News, which is part of Roast Magazine. And they highlighted, and I'm going to show you each one of these 5 coffee roasting businesses or coffee shops, etc., that have, in essence, put out in their community. And these 5 are all over the world, all over the country, and I'll tell you where they are. But they have stepped up and said, come in for breakfast. Come in for food. We will help you. Now, I know anybody would say, well, they're just, trying to get more business. Well, of course. But they don't have to do this, and it wouldn't be where no one's coming in and getting coffee if they didn't. This is an extra special effort and cost to them that is benefiting their local population. So again, I want to stress again, this came from Daily Coffee News, which is part of Roast Magazine. So this is what I'm going to read to you. It's going to be what they have in print. And I would think that they wouldn't mind my personifying the Daily Coffee News. I've been reading it every day for the longest time. And Roast Magazine, I used to subscribe to it, but I probably will again. I just moved, and you know how that goes. So anyway, as I said, from the Daily Coffee News, coffee shops step up as the federal government ends food assistance. And this funding is integral to our population. And as I said, this particular SNAP issue with the food stamps affects 40 million people, which is about about 1/6 of the population. But they're part of us. They're with us. We should be with them. So anyway, as the U.S. government shamelessly cuts off its largest food assistance program for citizens most in need, some coffee purveyors are stepping up to help fill the gap. And again, I'll say it again, if somebody had said to me this morning before I looked at anything, who do you think has stepped up to help their community with feeding people? I would never have guessed coffee companies, coffee businesses, coffee shops. Anyway, these specialty coffee shops and cafes from coast to coast have taken to social channels to announce free meal programs for SNAP recipients as a federal food program is set to expire November 1st. No relief in November. In a memo filled with ethically dubious political messaging this week, the USDA under the Trump administration announced there will be no benefits issued for the new month. Now, again, that's just punishing those people because they have money that is earmarked if in the event something like this happened. But the Trump administration says, I'm just going to make everybody hurt more, thinking that in itself is going to get this done and get the government open again. If anybody would say what works or doesn't work when it comes to our government shutting the economy down is never been the right thing to do, or a thing to do that's going to really help. It just, in my opinion, makes everybody look, in the sense of our government, stupid, unfair, and moreover, very, very, very dishonest. My mother brought me up to tell the truth. And when you listen to a lot of those that are in Congress, they just lie. I, and they get it from, of course, Trump lies. I'm just being honest. And anything that anybody says, you can fact check. So you kind of go in and say, well, is this true? Is this not true? You've got to tell the truth in all aspects. At 76, I've done my best in ensuring that I tell the truth. Is it where I've never not told the truth? Yeah. Have you told white lies? Yeah. But it isn't when it's been something very critical and important, that I would have lied to people. Because people aren't stupid, really. They can really very easily, or find out it via fact checking or any of the news organizations fact checking to verify what somebody is saying. I mean, it's one of those things where you'd say, wow, yeah, it's really hard to figure out if somebody's telling the truth or not. Well, they're not. Anyway, we are approaching an inflection point for the Senate Democrats. A large red banner on the USDA homepage currently states they can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition. Now, this whole thing where they're trying to say that the Democrats are saying, well, we want health care for legal aliens and gender changing procedures. No, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. But that's how they try, instead of doing the right thing, they just lie so that they don't have to do the right thing. And they think they're going to fool you to say, well, they're trying real hard. Well, they're not. They're not. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. I know this is a little political. I'm not trying to. It's just I feel so bad. I'm blessed every day. And I just feel that we're the best country in the world. And for the last year, we're not. And it's a lot of the things we've gone into, all the tariffs and everything, that's all a forced error. It didn't need to happen. Anyway, the decision of shutting everything down is expected to affect more than 42 million Americans and 22 million households who rely on SNAP benefits each month to put food on the table, according to the USDA statistics. Coffee shops stepping up. Meanwhile, the first one is in Portland, Oregon. The nonprofit coffee shop called Heretic Coffee Company said it plans to serve SNAP breakfast every day until benefits return or until they go broke doing it. Now, God bless them. Any of us that have a business, we can do things for the community, and that's wonderful. But they're even saying they'll go out of business doing this. Or they'll continue it, even if they look like they're out of business. Within 2 days, this shop had received community support of more than $86,000, according to the Oregonian. I guess that's a newspaper. Now, the next one, and I like this name, by the way. This is in Clearfield, Utah. Something Wicked Coffee formerly Beans Coffee, is offering free breakfast to anyone affected. And quote unquote, being hungry is a real thing. I grew up on food stamps, owner Karen Blackwood told KUTV. So some of the folks that have became successful had issues that they needed help when they were growing up. So, this isn't where, and people try to portray any of these helpful programs as being people that are just sitting home doing nothing and they don't work and they don't care. Well, that's not true. Of course, every system has its, honest, dishonest. I get it. It is what it is. But you can't paint everything with one brush color and say everybody is taking advantage of the system. Anyway, this shop is funneling tips into ingredients and accepting small donations to stretch the program. I mean, generally speaking, people in the United States are good people. Not everybody, but a lot of them are. So you got to understand that people are going to try. Now, the next one is called Haley's Kitchen Cafe and Bakery. This is a cafe in Windham, Maine. It began handing out free meals and built a pay it forward wall for neighbors to chip in. If I had to do 100 meals a day, that would be deficient for my business. But with the support of this community, I can do that. Owner Rebecca Coffin told WMTW TV. The next one, Flexit Cafe. And, with my presentations, I have to do homework. And, I had these names of these coffee businesses, and I pulled their logos and where they were and all that stuff, so that they. And it's not that this is going to go in a national level of my presentation today. That'd be nice if it did. They deserve this recognition. Okay, in Ellsworth, Maine, Fix-It Cafe said it will give free hot soup and coffee to SNAP customers through November or until benefits resume, according to WABI5. The next one, this is in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Northern Light Espresso Bar announced a weekly hot breakfast day for SNAP recipients in November. The company also encouraged guests to pay it forward to give people in need a hot drink. Pay it forward. You do it it happens in like McDonald's. Like if, in other words, I'm behind someone, I say, I like that person, or I'm actually ahead of someone. And when I get up and I say, okay, I'm paying for mine, and I want to pay for the person behind me. And of course, they don't know this is going to happen, so they say, okay, it's $3, pay them that too. And then when they drive, and you drive away, or I drive away, and then that person drives up to the window, and they go here, and the person has the money, and they say, don't worry, it's been paid for by the person that was just here. I know, it's like, wow, that is amazing. So these folks, because I would do that. How much money can anybody afford, $3 to basically help someone. I think it's pretty easy. Anyway, the DCN is monitoring this movement as it develops. That's, coffee news. These efforts, while inspiring, remain short-term responses to the ongoing food security crisis in the U.S., where approximately 1 in 7 households are food insecure. So there's nothing where you go, oh, this is a waste and, they don't need to help people. Well, what are we here for? I mean, my whole life is helping people. I was in healthcare for many years as a respiratory therapist, and I was helping people. I was hospital-based and then home care. Then I did durable medical equipment, and, then when I turned 55 in 2005, I started a generator business. Now, generator businesses help people because you're giving someone, or you're installing a process of where if they lose power, they're going to have power. So, and maybe in a sense with my YouTube, I'm also helping people because or animals, I try not to do, how would you say, clickbait material just to get someone to watch something that's irrelevant or wrong or, exaggerated. Anyway, in the meantime, a coalition of Democratic governors and attorneys generals have sued the Trump administration over the decision to end SNAP benefits. So this is where I hope you see what and how this affects people on a grassroots level, and how people are chipping in to try to help. And you might say, well, Jim, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing this, and I'll do anything else too. So it isn't where I sit home and drink beer all day. No, I decided when I saw Daily Coffee News today, and it said about these wonderful coffee businesses that were doing different things, but all to help their community. And one might say, it would cost us money to do this. And it wouldn't be where they'd say, well, yeah, it costs us, $5,000. I'm just using numbers. And we got more than $5,000 in return business. No, they're not doing it for that. They're doing it for the community. And that's what we need to do in a lot of different things. But anyway, I hope you found this a little bit interesting and that you would have it where you might say, hey, I really think that I would like to do something myself in the community. So let's just pay it forward. Thank you for being here today, and I appreciate you more than I can tell you or explain to you. Thank you again, and may everything in the long run work out. Thank you again.